coach, do whatever he's in.
Yeah, I thought our guys battled tonight. Obviously playing a shorter rotation, heavy minutes for a lot of our guys. Thought, did a good job of, putting out the effort that was required in order for us to, have a chance. Did a good job in the first half of just dwindling it down to 6. And, the beginning of the second half, we missed 3 just, wide open shots, and they come down and convert on all 3. And that was, ultimately where the game kind of got away, got up to 21, and then you're kind of fighting back the rest of the half and the rest of the game. They had a lot of step up. Billy Richmond, has 12 2-point baskets, and, that was a huge point of emphasis for us, is trying to keep them out of 2-point field goals. And, he did a great job for him, and he's an X factor when he can do those things. And then Darius obviously makes 7 threes. So those 2 things right there ultimately where the game was decided. And they just did a great job of disrupting us with some of their ball pressure early, kind of throwing us off balance. And I thought we had some step up from Murph and Tahad offensively. We weren't able to get enough stops to kind of stay in the game, and didn't make enough easy open ones as the game went on. So take any questions.
Coach, I know not the outcome you wanted, but can you talk a little bit more about the game from Tahad tonight? He really, 7 assists, only 3 turnovers, really played well offensively, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal offensively the last 3 games. I think he has 21 assists and maybe 7 turnovers in the last 3 games. So he's doing his part offensively. I'm just going to continue to push him defensively. But he's given the effort that's required. He's really been consistent with his routines, during the week in preparation for games. And, it's when he's making shots like that, our ceiling obviously goes way up. So, I'm excited that Todd's, starting to do that and starting to turn the corner, because he makes our team better. It's something that we've been kind of waiting on. And, I want him to just stay consistent, because even though we've lost the last 3, while he's been playing well offensively, once this thing turns around and he's making shots, obviously it'll be positive for us.
Obviously, Acuff is who he is, and this Arkansas offense is
Mm-hmm.
elite. Do you feel like your guys did, executed what y'all wanted to do on defense, and it was more than just knocking down shots like they didn't do in the first game?
We were a little backed off of Acuff because we were trying to stop him from driving it, because if you looked at his last 5 games, 83% of his attempts were from 2, and I think 75% of his makes were from 2. So he hadn't, while he'd made 10 over those 5 games, he was being really aggressive attacking the paint, and we were trying to keep him out of that. I think by doing that, we were backed off of him on the ball, and if you give a player like that any sort of space, he's going to knock shots down. And, then once he makes 1 or 2 clean ones, that then allows him, when he does his dribble pulls, and, at that point, the basket gets really big for him. And, he's a phenomenal player. So, we did a great job on him in the first game, and obviously didn't do very well on him tonight.
First game, I think you guys were plus 20 points in the paint tonight. Arkansas really flipped that script. What was the difference? I mean, that speaks for itself, but what did you see out there that was maybe different?
Well, Keyshawn Hall wasn't out there, so that makes a big difference. When our guy that's as good attacking the paint as anybody in college basketball is not on the floor, it makes our points in the paint go down. So that was probably the biggest difference for me. And Billy did a great job of just attacking one-on-one closeouts, and our guys had no answer for it. So, they had 17 points in transition, so a lot of those are probably paint touches as well. Those are probably the 2 or 3 things.
And as good as Murphy was tonight, it looked like Trevor Brazil's rim protection, maybe not the big second half for Murphy like that the first half. Did that play a factor in that?
Yeah, he had 4 block shots, so he did a good job of contesting around the rim, and if he didn't block the shot, he altered it. He's a very versatile defender, and when he's able to be around the rim and he stays down in shot fakes, he's really good.
Yeah, Coach, you talked a little bit about Murphy, but he did have a really good first half for you all, and seemed to really bring the energy for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What did you talk to him about in terms of just kind of stepping up in the absence of Hall out there?
Yeah, I think Murph was really disappointed in his performance against Vanderbilt, and he knew that he needed to step up with Key not being in the game. And he played with great pace and great tempo, and did a really good job of taking what the defense gave him. And he was explosive tonight, and that's the Murph that we obviously need every single night in order for us to win. So happy with his performance. I mean, he's plus minus. He's 0 on the plus minus. He's flat in 33 minutes. So in the what would that be? 6.5 minutes he doesn't play, we're minus 13. So that's unbelievable. So Murph played great. So he needs to keep that going.
It was a game where obviously I had a lot from Murph and Tahad, but with Key out, you probably need a little bit more step up from somebody else, maybe at least one more guy.
Yeah, I mean, Sebastian, KO, Elijah, for those guys to go, what was that, 6 for 28, not going to win when that happens. So, and I know those guys obviously want to play better. Like, KO never misses open shots like that. He missed 2 butt naked ones in the beginning of the second half. And like, you make that first 3, we're down 6, it's a different game at that point. And when you see the first one go down, it obviously gets you going. It's Elijah did a good job of rebounding, but I thought he was a little tentative on both ends of the floor. And we needed to step up from 1 or 2 more guys offensively, and unfortunately we just didn't have it tonight.
Anything else for Coach?
Just one more, Coach. In terms of rebounding, though, you guys early in the game being dominated, but kind of step back up later in the game to be able to do a much better job on the glass. How did you guys kind of get back into that kind of effort on the glass?
Yeah, I just think, we knew where shots were going up, and we did a good job of crashing the offensive glass. Had 15 offensive rebounds, and we held them to 7 offensive rebounds. I think they had 3 in the first half. So guys did a good job of checking out on every single possession, and I thought in the second half offensively, we did a good job of flying to the rim because we knew when shots were going up and gave ourselves a chance to get second chance opportunities. So, they battled. Obviously it's going to be hard for us to win games when Key's not out there. But I thought our guys, grinded, battled, played in a really tough environment against a really good team. And, we have 6 games in front of us right now that, our schedule, while it's never easy, we've played the number 1 strength of schedule in our conference up to this point today. And then, I think after tonight, we'll probably have the number 1 strength of schedule in college basketball. So all that being said, we got to take advantage of these last 6 because, we're as good as all the teams that we play moving forward. And, we just got to capitalize, and we got to come together, and we got to limit our distractions off the floor. We got to stop being put in positions where we have to make decisions to discipline guys. And if we can do that and really focus on basketball for a couple weeks, this team's shown that it has the ability to, win big games.
All right, Coach.
Thanks.